Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love once again. Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, and I'm truly excited once again. Never know how these live streams are going to go. I am excited to see who's going to join us today. What's going to happen? What is this Jack Talcott character going to say today? Because sometimes some crazy stuff comes out of me. I know it. But thank you for joining in today's online adventures with me, the Talcottian adventure. Whether you're here with the group live or you connect with us later, blessings and gratitude to all of you. The reminder, plant the seed of thought for you to consider and really grow for yourself. May love rise us all above any conflicts, any despair, because love does, it truly transforms. So hello to Austin, the Palverse, Swinton's, B-Say, all of you folks who've already been popping through. Blessings and thank you to you. You're a witness, Austin. 4 days left. Yeah, 4 days left, Jack. You have more faith than me, I'll tell you that much. If you've been through what I've been through, you'd see it too. You'd be just fine. You'd be like, looking forward to the live stream, man, seeing what's going on. Be gone, fear is the message. Truly, truly. Let me jump into some of the doings, some of the messaging. A reminder, this one, learn from my lesson. Learn from my mistakes, my obvious example. Choose who you surround you with, right? My problem, truly, I wanted to take people with me to the top who didn't even want to see me at the top. And hey, that reminds me on a positive note, little cross promotion, I guess, for those who've been along the Talcottian journey. You know, our friend Paul Unslaved, proper instruction motivates people. Well, good news for him. I saw he's streaming today. I didn't catch the details, but looks like he's out and about. So evidence of his mobility in the sunshine. So it does appear that he makes it outside. And, so there's good news to be found. But if that's not a perfect example of this, right? My problem was I wanted to take people with me to the top who didn't even want to see me at the top. And you guys saw my loyalty, my addiction to that young man, his character. Anyway, learn from me. Learn from my clear message here, right? My example. Manage your own energy. Manage your energy, your attention, your time, and learn from the past. The patterns of the past will continue until the lessons are learned and the patterns are overcome. I know this. Now, putting it into practice, sometimes, there's a technique to success. And something that's true, it's obvious. Not everyone wants to see you rise, but don't let anyone prevent you from pursuing your dreams or achieving what's in your heart. Because what's in your heart, what's in your dreams has been offered forth for you to find. And if you can attach yourself to a dream or a purpose that's greater than you, that's really worth it, don't let go. That's what I'm doing, okay? I've got this purpose in my heart, this dream of a better world, not just for me, but for everyone, for the future. I can't let go of that dream, and I will not. But I'm not going to let I'm not going to let others hold me back from finding joy, finding peace, finding purpose and excitement for life. I've allowed others to affect me, right, emotionally, and I bought into opinions and I started underestimating myself. In my lesson, in my testimony, in my past, I carried a lot of resentments around. I held on to doubts. And this life we're living, man, some of my thoughts today are about uh, the impossible. Because if you can believe in the impossible, well, then you can understand the world, because the world's not possible, and yet it is here. It's a contradiction. You know what? I got all sorts of thoughts and everything, but I admit I know my weakness and I know my strengths. And if I just keep going on and on, sometimes I wander and people get confused by me. But I never know what opportunities are there until I extend the opportunity to discover what's available. So for those who are present, wish to join, you're welcome to join the conversations today. Because praise God, Coog Gator, it was actually real nice to hear your voice again. What you're saying, it may not even take more than two people on the panel. It may just take one more, because we've got another guy who I'm grateful he's returned again. And welcome back,
You
brother.
are not grateful because you will backstage me and you'll never see me again because you've got like 5 days left at the most.
For
And Jack, you revealed yesterday I'm not going to take the low road and play your backstage after the show because it's too easy to show who Flow State is when he was being a pompous part of the Dark Triad. Uh, you said your car's gone to shit and it has the same warning lights that any female's car has. You literally, the best chance for you to be truthful about your
um,
situation, which I give you, you're literally rock bottom, Jack.
okay, so let's please pause.
Oh, we're just gonna move on.
We're here in the present. You've presented yourself. I want to also welcome old Joe. We've got a Jonathan Carpenter, I think, in the background.
Probably just more, just fill the panel up, Jack. Fill them up.
Well, no, this is kind of
Jack,
the thing. I
your
don't want
thumbnail is literally a Paul enslaved thumbnail that
to
shows he's your daddy. You think you were going to the top of anything?
tell you what. I'm going to pause and pause you since you won't pause. Old Joe, how are you today?
Hello, sir. How are things today?
Doing well.
You know,
Um,
I have been watching the last few panels that you did, and then reflecting on our experience on Tommy's, where we were over there together. And there have been some very interesting things that I've observed. It's actually, especially in terms of the some of the things that I think you tend to find frustrating, that I can personally relate to. And it seems to me that it would be good for us to have a 5-10 minute conversation on that topic without interruption. And then I can beg out. And that doesn't have to be today either. That can be at a more convenient time.
I'm flowing with that which is, and if it's helpful, um,
Yeah, well, and maybe you can correct some of my. I'm trying to build a picture here and see if I'm right. And the first situation I'd like to address is what I've seen with Snafu and his bringing in these other people with their thoughts. I don't see anything in that material that is a major concern, even in the stuff that I watched. So there are several different characters in your life, it seems, and some of them are there purely for negativity, and that guy's one of them. I'll say it straight out. I'd cut him loose if I was you. Like I'd ban him and block him. And then any people that come around, I'd ban them and block them too if they started to, because I mean, I've said this to you before. And so what I'm wondering is, it seems to me that your experience of being misunderstood, which is an extremely frustrating experience if you're trying to say something that's reasonable and you have people. I'm wondering if, in order to avoid doing that to others, you have given them a tremendous amount of slack because you don't want to be guilty of what frustrates you.
That's a big part of it.
So I guess the last piece I'll say, and I think it's perfectly legitimate to be frustrated when you feel like your message is fairly easily understood and people aren't taking the time to listen. That's an incredibly frustrating experience. I'm going to say this about Tommy. I know people aren't going to agree with me. After having listened and having talked and having questioned him, I once again reiterate that I put that man in a different category than I do somebody like Snafu. I believe you are as close to a real friend as he has. I really do believe that. And I think that the anger, and I know he's not going to like this. And I'll say this too. In the end, you know what? I think he's a good guy. I really do. I think deep down there's a good guy in there. It's the communication piece that's a struggle. And so, yeah, what were you going to say something? Sorry.
No, you just keyed in on it. Communication. Communication is the key. It's been a struggle for me to communicate with people, but part of what you said, these people like Snafu and others who are, yes, many people have suggested to me, pointed out that it's probably in my best interest just to completely put up barriers between me and them. On the outside, that might make the most sense. And from where I'm at, Snafu actually, he's a wounded man who I understand. And if he'd allow himself to understand me, I could help him, well, find more peace in his own heart. I understand he's got a daughter. I'd like to help his daughter's father.
Have
And
you ever thought have you ever thought about what cost personally you're willing to bear in order to try and do that?
old Joe, here's another part. My faith has been tested, okay? My faith, my love of God, it's been tested, right? So I'm all in. I'm all in. I'm committed to my devotion to God, my devotion to faith. I will not allow myself to be broken again, to be filled with anger and resentment and fear. That's not going to be me ever again. And so I'm not trying to test God, but I am devoted to my path. And Snafu, we've got some amazing opportunities here. But there's a couple guests in the back, old Joe.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've said my piece anyways,
Yeah.
and I know that it's going to upset Tommy, but it's not meant to be offensive. I think, and I said from the beginning, I think he's genuine. Some of the communication pieces, they're not so healthy, but in the end, I think that he can have a good conversation. Hey, thanks for listening to me, man. I appreciate that.
All right, old Joe. Thank you. Appreciate you. Um, I'm gonna go with a wild card. Snafu, just briefly, please, because there's others in the back. I
Briefly. I find it funny that when you said to everyone, please help me contact people.
okay. There's El Perro. Thank you for your patience, brother. Here, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna bring you up. Jonathan Carpenter. You've been patient in the back.
Yeah.
What are you bringing for us?
Well, they make me nervous. I think I'm wrong right now. So.
What is your intentions? You looked a little. I felt some suspicions with you. So what are we doing here, Jonathan? How can I help you?
Yeah, I'm trying to help you find.
Your audio's not coming through. Thank you, brother.
Greetings, Jack.
Oops.
Just like yesterday, I don't want to be part of any of the discord and all the argument stuff. So I just wanted to come up today to express my side of our relationship as it goes to the joy of faith. You know, I've been hard on you. A lot of people have been hard on you. I don't know anybody, any one of you people in chat, any one of you people on panels that has near the amount of faith that Jack is showing today. You all want to sit there and pick at him about this fictional home. I dropped a video in the Facebook chat for you yesterday. I hope you watched that, Jack. That's my view on homeless. Okay, there is no way a man, knowing that this world given dominion over the land, air, and water, that this could not be our home. So even without that box, Jack, this is where you're meant to be every step you take. And I don't see anybody else with that much faith. God bless you.
Brother, thank you. Thank you. You're part of this journey with me. You're welcome. Okay. I'm going to give this a try again. Bear with me just a moment. Jonathan Carpenter, you're back again. Although now it looks like you froze or something. Maybe we're having connection issues. I'm going to move on. And
Bring
Tommy,
O'Pero's stupid, decrepit ass back up here.
he's stepped down. Let's move forward, please.
What the fuck does he mean nobody has as much faith as you? You showed yesterday you're just being lazy and retarded.
Okay.
Faith is not saying, I'm going to do nothing and let God work it out. That's not how it works.
Tommy, faith is allowing you another chance despite your resistance to my
Is
peace.
that what faith is?
Yeah, it's part of it.
No, it's not. And I
Is it?
should have given up on you long ago. You're showing that.
Tom, actually, the topic today.
When people donate money to you, do they know you've let your car go to all warning lights? You've
my
quit
goodness.
paying your mortgage and you've just said, I'll kiss it up to God.
You're so frustrating. Pause. Can we please
To have this truth thrown in your face is frustrating. I know. It's how I battle the dark triad.
Your interruptions are the frustration I'm experiencing.
My interruptions are to...
So the topic today is the joy of faith. And Tommy reminded me, I didn't really get into that. Think of, there is a true joy in allowing yourself. You control you. Let's start with that. I'm responsible for me. You, whoever you are, you're responsible for you. But each of us gets to choose. How do we feel? What do we think? What are we going to do? What do we allow ourselves to react to? What do we allow ourselves to offer? We get to choose. So if you don't allow yourself just to be at peace in the present, you're denying yourself faith. It's as simple as that. Faith is yours. Divine faith is yours to use, to ignore, to throw away if you want. I didn't know that faith was mine to receive just because of my human nature. I didn't know that God had given me the same faith. This is a theory. I believe the same faith that allowed Christ Jesus to bring forth the healings, to overcome death, to be the messenger and the true example of the holiness, the divinity, the perfection of our God. I believe that faith, maybe not to the same degree, but that faith is available for us all. God, I was so quick to give my faith away. I was so quick to give my attention to my disappointments, to my resentments, to my anger. I made a lot of mistakes in my life. And Snafu, you're in the background. I've been telling you you're in the backstage right now, and I've been telling you I wanted to kind of talk to you about some observations I've seen regarding me and my son. I watched my son start to pick up the same patterns that I carried around the same age. It's like, holy cows.
You guys say
Oh,
holy, like you know, that's your trademark. Holy.
I know. See, and even that, the holy, there's a
Wait, you
story.
gotta do it. You gotta say holy. Let's hear it. Holy.
Holy.
There you go. We'll clip that.
That comes from, it's accessible to me, it's accessible to you. That exclamation of praising holiness, it's available through divine pleasures. I found divine pleasure in massage, physical massage. The what are they called?
Ooh.
Fascia. Massaging
Suckers?
the fascia within
Happy
the body.
ending?
What's that?
I said you asked what it's called. Happy endings? You asked what it's
Dude,
called.
I've had non-sexual orgasms within my body, pleasures that I didn't know were possible, but
Oh no. I
I'm
believe it.
telling, well, Snafu, this is what tells me that I'm on the right path. I didn't
Your
know
orgasm?
the pleasure, the pleasure, the
I was just
joy.
saying, if your orgasm tell you you're well, a lot of women would say that, I guess. But go ahead, Jack. I mean, we're talking here. We're communicating. What can I say?
I know. What do you think when I say that I watched with my son? I saw the sins of the father being passed down.
I don't know. If you want to go in detail, I'd love to hear this.
It was the age of 15 that I embraced my anger and my rebelliousness. The exact same thing I watched my son doing with me. And I was helpless. And I didn't know what to do.
You know, we're talking about faith, right?
Mm-hmm.
Faith. Let me ask you this: faith and works go together. Now, of course, faith is more than works, according to blah blah. I really actually was. You cut me off early, and I'm not trying to be a dick here, but I want to say this: when old Joe said that my videos of the people of your past, which you've asked, you know, and they're communicating with you in the digital experience, whether you like what they're saying or not. I'm the only one who's brought that to the plate, and so faith that has even happened. I'm kind of surprised you didn't put old Joe in his place and say, "Motherfucker, Snafu's the only one who's bringing me faith for the future, whether it turns good or bad." But like, it's just these people don't get it. They wonder why me and you do talk, and it's like I understand Jack a lot more than they think, and I think Jack understands me more than what they think. So yeah,
Snap,
yeah. But anyways, that's all I wanted to
snap.
say when you cut me off earlier.
All right. I appreciate that. But here's the truth, buddy. You've been testing
Oh
me. You've been testing
yeah.
my faith. You've been used, not you. It hasn't been you.
Speaking of faith, I've been testing your faith by bringing the people of your past back into the digital experience.
Oh, no,
that
no.
Maybe you could connect with.
No. You help me see that I should not have faith in people. And
Oh, well, that's good. Then that would make you understand you can't stop wars.
no,
I was gonna say proxy war.
No,
like how do you stop proxy wars? Not main wars, like proxy wars, like in Africa, like or other, like, you know, not even big wars like the Iraq. How do we stop proxy wars in like villages and, you know, just like it's because humanity is shit, Jack.
You may
We're
not
sinners.
like
We're
the
born
answer.
sinners.
You may not like the answer, but it's what I know it's lacking.
Okay, no, I want to hear the answer. We're born sinners. I do know that, and that's why humanity's shitty.
Ooh, even better. I'm glad you brought that up because what's lacking is proper leadership. those where like these nation states that are civil war, at war with itself. Even America is in non-violent civil war with itself. It's due to a
Oh,
lack
it's
of
getting, it's
leadership.
gonna be there.
Oh, I know.
It's gonna
If
get,
we
it's
don't,
picking up.
well, I pray and I hold faith in my heart that God has some surprises in store, and these surprises are to reward the light and to bring justice to those in darkness.
Do
I'm
you
I'm
think that we
go
can
ahead.
only have faith without works? Or do we
No,
have to have works with faith? Just, I'm curious what your interpretation of that faith and works is.
by experience, our faith is demonstrated in the works. Faith without works is just wishing and dreaming.
Okay. No, yeah. Faith without that's exactly really faith without works, wishing and dreaming. I get that.
This is what
I
I
just,
mean.
I mean, they are, even though they're opposite, because faith is faith, right?
Mhm.
Your mind, I guess, is putting works in, but it's faith. Works is work. It's so how they're so opposite, bipolar, but yet they're still in this, the yin and the yang. They're still together.
Let me kind of it may be a distracted, but if like a philosophical observation on faith I was considering earlier, because the joy of faith, when you have faith, the reward is peace. You know, it's the absence of worry and it's the absence of unpleasant. Faith, God, God is the impossible. That's, I mean, from our limited minds, God is impossible to define. It actually even defies the laws of logic. I was looking at the laws of logic earlier, and God completely violates all laws of logic because log is God is beyond our reasoning.
What was that you were showing us?
The laws of logic. Here, actually,
Oh,
I
okay.
thought this was interesting. Uh, the laws attributed to Aristotle. And here, when we attribute these ideas, it's just who interpreted it, who put the ideas into words, because what exists is real, and what's real is true, and what's true is eternal. And the law of identity, the law of non-contradiction, and the law of excluded middle. So everything is identical to itself. God, I was thinking about this. Is God identical to itself, or is it even above its own nature of being? I don't know. I think God defies that.
No,
There
because
is,
what does Genesis 1:1 say, Jack?
well, God is the all in all. That's what I know.
In the beginning was,
The word.
well, that's John 1:1, yeah. That's not
Hmm.
Genesis 1. Yeah, John 1. But that's what I'm saying. So I don't think they're, and then again, man was made in the image of God, and then we are to live in the image of God. So like, I mean, you're on the right track there. I just don't, I don't know if that's the right wordage to say is like, because are you saying like, is there someone above God or before God? Is that what you're trying to? Oh, okay. Then I got
No.
mixed up with that wordage. And as you said, the words are powerful
Excuse me.
and
Well,
can lead to misrepresentation. Go ahead.
brother, I think that's what's happened with generations is words have confused people. What I was pointing out with that, the idea of God and logic. God is above and beyond logic. But back to the idea of faith, right? I believe God is the impossible. And through the story of Jesus, God revealed the impossible, miraculous healings, recovering, even its own overcoming of death. So to believe in Jesus is to accept the impossible as real. Now, the world
You
we
know
live
what?
in, go ahead.
Oh, so this adds to your subject. One of my favorite scriptures in the verses, whether you believe it as the word of God or you guys just look at it poetically, even if you don't believe in the word, and it hasn't really been tarnished by the Mandela effect, is Proverbs 3:5. And it goes on your faith thing. Proverbs 3:5, one of my favorites, says, "Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, lean not on your own understandings." That verse right there, boom, right? Trust in the Lord with all thine heart. So you have to have the faith on the Lord. But it tells us to lean not on our own understandings. And I tell people all the time, if we had a beach in front of us and we compared to our true understanding of the Almighty, it would probably equal a grain of sand on that whole beach of sand, of how close we are to the optics of reality of that faith that put our trust. But Proverbs 3:5, beautiful verse to your subject. Go ahead.
In that proverb, take the Lord and put in truth, right?
Okay, but we can't do that. The
But
Bible well, okay, you can
Well,
comprehend the word. Like you could say the Lord means truth to me, like you're saying,
yes,
right? Because
yes.
you say so don't say it like that because then it goes against like what the word says. Do not change the word. But
I understand.
but when you said the word Lord means truth to me, then so yeah, don't say change, but say I interpret it, and that would make sense because I know
A
the
mind,
Lord means truth to you.
a mind
It's
exercise.
the word, Jack. Like we
Mm.
said, the word can
Well,
cause
it is.
confusion.
Yep. But they also,
But
this
go
is
ahead.
the thing. But this is the thing. Words can cause confusion, but it is through God that we know anything. It's a realization, right? And so oh, now I lost where I was going. It's all through God's grace that we get. Oh, the words. The words can cause confusion. However, when we find the right words, words reveal the truth. And when we find the right words and the truth that resolves our confusion or our contradictions, we find a peace in our heart. And I experienced the healing power of truth working with my sponsor. And it took me a while to connect the dots, but that's what it really was. It was truth and love. When when I accepted it, I felt it. And when I felt it, I knew it. And that, the knowing, the knowing is the peace that's beyond understanding. The knowing of God. That's the goal. And God is the truth. So
Yeah,
we're
I can't. I no, I honestly, this is actually good combo. And I let me ask you this. You know that verse, "Be still," and we talk about patience. Be still. Now, for a lot of people, when they find God or they find that path of understanding, and I tell people, blood of Jesus Christ, salvation. Get into details on that. Like not just the whole generic form. Are there any like this is something you should do? Just break down. I like the fact that you're breaking down because you said the word God is truth to you. I am the truth. I am the way. I am the light. Right. So, do you feel when our faith in what about multiple truths, such as all this, like we have multiple gods, or all these people, like you've had like the multiple genders and all this stuff. And then you get people like me or Tommy or others who are like, so like, oh, yeah, warriors for the truths, because let's be real, the truths are male and females are what makes the world babies. You can't have a male and a male make baby, woman. Same when it goes to the truths of multiple religions. There's you know what I'm saying. And there is a respect factor. I get it. As someone of faith, the keyword faith, like you said, we have to have respect. But we also there is a righteous, equally yoked, unequally yoked wheat and tear optics. Go ahead, Jack.
do me a favor, please. I want to swing back to this topic of multiple truths. Okay. Because yes, but I don't want to overlook this. Tarek, for the contribution, blessings, and thank you for that. Jack, all you can do is give the people that are trying to put you down an opportunity to present their case. As long as Snaps allows Jack to rebuttal any claim, love and peace. He's right. Thank you, Tarek, and Snafu, thank you. This has actually been evidence that conversations can be had, not only with Jack, but with Snafu too. Holy cows!
Okay, that deserves a holy. That deserves. Go for it, Jack. Go for it. Give it. We got clipping. Give it something.
Hey,
holy! You didn't do it. I'll do it. Go ahead.
Much love. Actually, that does remind me. For those who have a creative talent or anything, I would love a clip for like a pause.
Well, you know who does? Jack, you have one of the best creative, I think, people in the digital experience as far as their good editor, Mr. As he claims, the panel president, Mr. Lumatami. But you and him are having, your faith in him is not working, and his faith in you is not working. And I get it. I think Tommy's looking at the unequally yoked, at the other, but what about that? Because you guys have you have the same faith, I think, but different faith. And I get it, but he's a good editor. He could help you with tech shit.
Oh, I know. He's amazing. I'd love to have Lumatami as an ally.
I told him I want him to help me with the Jack Tells intro. Like I want like Jack, you jumping off the thing into the gold, and shit like that. But anyway.
Tommy falls into the thumbnail. I wanted to take people with me to the top who don't want to see me at the top. They want to see me disappear.
Okay, so speaking about that, I did release 2 Jack Tells, and I know you saw them. Now, one of them, I think episode 4, which I put in your backstage, it talked about you trying to get people on the subject since you found your faith, because that's really, your story hasn't changed. I agree with you. Like, and that's why I told you privately. I said, look, dude, either way, you said you want your story to be told, and just like Tarek said, both sides get the side of the story. But do you have faith that you're changing really, or do you think you're still stuck in a loop, a rut?
Here, 2 things.
Is that a man or a dude?
Hold on.
Is that a chick or a dude?
Hold on.
This is a woman.
Or a dude chick?
Hello?
Huh?
Welcome,
Hello,
Signal.
nice to meet you.
Okay. I'm just saying, you're not like a Brendan, right? Brendan? Because then we have to tell them about faith.
Would you please stop? Welcome, Signal. How you doing?
All right. I'm Jack.
Yeah.
Thank you. Really. Thank you for letting me on. I mess around sometimes. What's up, Snafu?
What's going on?
I would like to contribute to this conversation and not just be an idiot.
Appreciate it.
No, you good. Honestly, you came in non-cupcake, and that's respectable. Yeah. I hate them cupcakes. Jack knows that.
Cheers.
Go ahead, Mr. Jack. Take it away.
Cheers.
Holy water. Go ahead.
Cheers.
Hey, regarding the multiple truths, this is something I learned for myself. Our mind can become confused very easily, right? And all these contradictions we hear on the news, we hear from rumors, we put pieces together without all the information. All of these things can occupy our mind, but here's the key. The key is the simplicity. The simplicity is in God's design. God's design requires you to be. And the only moment you can ever be is right now.
No, that's real, dude.
What is that?
You know that with like programming, when you study programming, what they teach you is that you want to make everything as simple as possible. When you make a program, like the more complicated, I mean, it's the same thing with mechanics. And like you add more gears, that's more points of failure. And so,
but you know what? It's really just optics of hooked on phonics, fucktard dictionaries for me. Like it's just people are dumbed down, and you have to hold
No, let him
hands.
keep on. I'll catch on to what I was thinking before. Go on, keep on.
But yeah, I wanted to ask you though, with the multiple truths, with what you said, this is why I wanted to ask you. I'm going off what you said just now. You said we have to be, and then you just said some weird stuff. What do we have to be? What do you mean by what? Like, what do you mean by that statement?
I
Like,
love that
be a
question.
to be a hero.
As it says, rest in God. We can only
Oh, I
rest.
thought you said rest in peace. I thought you were gonna go like Mark Calloway Undertaker shit.
Well,
Rest in peace.
it's through God that we get to know peace, and we get to know God through faith, because God is the unseen, but it shows plenty of evidence. And logic and reasoning actually brought me to the conclusions that I've come to.
So when you say let it be, are you meaning bring it to God?
Yes,
Like let it be, like always put God in its situation, like let it be because it's of
What do you
God.
think
It's gonna
faith
be God.
is?
Okay.
yes,
That's
thank you.
faith. Ding ding ding. Mr. Signal 666.
You're having faith that God will take care of things, and that you don't have to, be an animal and take them into your own hands.
That's the goal.
Yep. But then again, it still goes with the faith with works thing. You can't. I get the faith is you have to have the works, right?
Yes.
With the faith.
Back to the point that I was saying before. I just wanted to complete it because I remembered what I was saying.
Thank you.
I think I heard someone say it, but basically like the fool looks at something that's complex and they think, oh, it's incredible, it's the most amazing thing that's ever been made, because they can't understand it, right? Really, the true genius is in making things as simple as possible. That is the real genius. And that's something that you can see in practice in like mechanics, in engineering, in programming. The more simple that you make something, the better that it is, the longer that it will last, the less maintenance it will need.
Well, and let's be real, like we as humans have that thought of, like, if you're, I don't want to say the word normal, but like if you're not autistic, if you're not like deaf or certain things, and they say, oh, we have the complex brain that this person doesn't have, and you look at some of the most greatest creators, Beethoven, and with even the others that have disabilities or things that humans look down at, but they became some of the best of their shit, and I just think we've lost faith in humanity as far as what can be done.
Exactly. And this is where
through God, through faith in God, through faith in God.
Please. Hey,
and that's why I get upset with the wheat and tear shit, the unequally yoked. I'm just saying. That's why I get upset.
I know. Please, I'm going to ask you. You're doing great, but please be mindful. It really frustrates me when people interrupt each other, before the point is completed. I'm guilty of it. You and me, we can be long-winded sometimes, so let's both of us be aware of that. Thank you.
Dude, Jack, I really appreciate you letting me on. And I literally, as you're complaining about being interrupted, I'm interrupting you. Excuse me.
I have faith that pedophile sympathizers like Powder Dusty will meet their demise one day. I have faith that people like him who support pedophiles will be handled one day. Just that's my faith. That's my faith. Go ahead.
Trust. Yes. Welcome, Dusty. How are you today, brother?
Thank you. I'm doing good. How are you?
Feeling good. I had fun and I learned last night.
Good. You learned. That panel was pandemonium.
Yes. And you did well. I learned from your example. I'm trying to avoid the pandemonium.
So you're learning how to be a grifter and a scammer and a pedophile sympathizer, because that's what this guy does online.
Jack,
that's what Flow State does.
I feel like Jack understands.
I mean, he's been involved in multiple scams online with multiple
like
people.
He's not right fucking here, but
no, he's been. Dude,
Jack understands. You got to strike a balance. You do have to strike a balance. You got to like not go.
Sorry.
Go on.
The goal is to be present. And as long as we're present, we don't have to be fighting and arguing, and we can get along. I'm confident of it. Snafu and I have been breaking ground today. I think we went a long time with healthy
This is where you
conversation.
fuck up. You had people probably of God. I'm not saying Signal 66. I can't say what his faith is, but he seemed to understand the conversation of faith. But Powder Dusty mocks God, known fucking pedophile sympathizer. Hank the Gay admitted self-black.
Whenever I
Where's the
mocked God,
pedophile? Like, where does that come from?
You
Pedophile
mock it all the
sympathy. Where
time.
does that come from?
Yeah, Officer Snap
It's
thinks he's God, and I mock him. That's factual.
Snafu, I put you in the back because you really need to break this habit of yours. You've got a clear habit of condemning everybody. And here's what we know. If we're going to put the words into practice, those who believe in Jesus will follow his commandment. And his commandment was to love all.
it wasn't to condemn people. I thought it was go and condemn people.
No, the churches kind of missed that part. They got it a little confused. So,
But yeah, I'll take the first step in Jesus's footsteps and offer an olive branch to Snafu. Snafu, I'm glad to see you today.
wow.
Hey, you know
Wow.
what? I'll cupcake for a minute. Flow State, at least you're not as stupid as Gay Black Jabwitch, the fucking Hank. Yeah.
Was that
But
a
you still are
cupcake?
both pedophile sympathizers. Both you guys are pedophile sympathizers. But Hank runs around with the symbol. Hank runs around with the symbol. But go
Okay.
ahead.
Hey, welcome, Steelman. I don't know if I've seen you before, but I saw you cam up for me in the back. Welcome to you. Have you been here before?
Oh yeah, thanks, man. I think you and I chatted once on Flow States.
Yeah, he's been online.
Oh,
Flo.
okay. Cool.
Flo, I got a cupcake. Why are you scared of me on your panels?
I'm not letting you up because you strike people, and I don't. I have actually a moral issue.
I
Why
with
are
know
everything
you
Zach,
about
I'm
that.
scared? Why are
actively
you
striking
scared to
him.
have your camera on?
No, it's not. It's not because I'm concerned about you getting a strike off on me.
No,
It's
no, no.
because
This individual right here, the guy that's
who?
targeting you right now, right? He's like pressing you. The
What,
guy who's
Snafu?
complaining,
This little fucking
whoever's complaining, Mr. Snafu, right? Mr. Snafu. Why don't you feel comfortable enough to have your camera on? What is it about that what you're doing or saying that you don't feel comfortable with having your camera on? Can you answer that?
I'm not.
We got
I'm
3
not-
people here that have their cameras on.
He puts his camera on occasion. But
Go ahead, leave it on. No, don't just little peek.
no.
Little peek. Leave it
No.
on.
He's in the back. And I
All
actually
right,
think
I'm
the
sorry. Excuse me,
conversation-
Steelman. I meant the other man here.
Oh yeah, well I figured now I'm getting thrown into there, so I'll just.
No, you're good, buddy. You're good.
Yeah. Welcome to all of you. Snafu, we're going to take a break from you for a little bit. You're welcome to hang out in the back and enjoy the conversations, but holy cows, dude. Praise God. Wounded
Dude,
warrior.
I get being antagonistic. I'm antagonistic sometimes myself too.
We
It's
all
all
have
good, dude.
that.
Just like let's go, dude.
We all have that tendency, but
Everybody get into battle right now, dude. Start
hey,
screaming at each other.
no, actually get into battle. That's what I see. I see a bunch of wounded warriors doing this real life action role playing, LARPing online. All these enemies and scheming to get each other. It's like, what the hell is going on?
It's
Man?
real. It's crazy.
You don't think that Snafu is actually fighting predators?
Not with the amount of time he spends on me and you and others. Not
Seems
really.
like he's just normalizing it, doesn't it?
Yes, I agree. But I do appreciate his tenacity, even though it's targeted.
Mm-hmm.
I think inappropriate efforts are as bad as not having an effort at all. Like if you're not
Stupidity and
putting,
weakness are often worse
your
than
effort
knowledge.
at the right place, it's as equally as bad as not. Or it
I
could be
would say
worse.
it's worse. I would say it's worse.
It could be worse. Exactly.
You guys Q-tipped your ears today?
Yes.
Good. I can tell that some of you motherfuckers haven't Q-tipped in a long ass time, Steel Man.
Dude,
yeah,
when you open the box of Q-tips, it says that you're not supposed to stick them in your ears.
dude, I was just gonna
That's-
say, I actually do it like, obviously every day, but the doctor told me not to do it to my kids or
Right.
anything, even though I
Yeah.
still do it.
There's
but-
a legal reason that they put that there, and absolutely ignored shit out of it.
Yes, and they don't say not to eat the Q-tips, but obviously our bodies can't break them down. So just think
It would
about
be a
that.
hell of a time. They'd have a hell of a time if they were selling a product and the instructions were to shove it in your ear.
No, but I actually went to the doctor. I took my children there because I had
Perhaps.
to, and for like some, to get their certificate or whatever. And the doctor said not to put Q-tips in their ear.
Have you looked into religious exemptions?
So yeah, I don't have. They don't have any vaccinations or anything like that. And even though they don't allow, they don't even allow religious exemptions where I'm at now in the state that I'm in. But I just do the homeschooling thing. I just had to get it.
Luna, it sounds like you're very mistaken. In fact, Luna, it sounds like you're so mistaken that you can't even join and discuss the confusion that you have. Frankly, love is to, even at your own deficit, even at a disadvantage to yourself. Loving, I think, is to care for others, is to be selfless, and try to understand others. Maybe it's a little bit too far. Maybe it's like an extreme love, like for others, but maybe it's like a bit too much understanding. But I can understand Jack's trying to understand more than just judge. Right? There's judging and then there's understanding.
Do you like shake weights? You like it?
Signal, did you hear him?
Do you like it?
I do like shake weights. I like jerking off a nice big cock in my face and having it blast nut all over my face. I do.
That'll be fun to clip.
I do enjoy that a lot.
I prefer kettlebells.
Hey.
Yeah, kettlebells are substantially more effective than shake weights. Shake weights don't do anything for you. That's research. Apparently, like shake weights are a scam. They don't do anything. You're literally just shaking a giant cock.
No shit.
Like that.
What about peach knee high?
Literally the whole time.
How about we come back to?
Okay, I heard you start to go into the tag a little bit. The transcendental.
All right, you guys are taking shit too heavy for a moment. Let's just
We're taking it fine. Jack, I heard you start to go into the transcendental argument for God, the laws of logic.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that you have to have the law. So this is, I don't know if you saw it. I had this argument with Jim Bob actually, and you have to have the law of identity to identify God.
Yes.
And I guess that the minute where I was going with it isn't really relevant to us. I don't know. I don't think that they do much for me or for God at all. It's just mental gymnastics to try to make something be necessary when it's not.
That's common.
Possibly. Hank, what do you got in the back? What's this?
So it's a new argument. It's not quite new, but it's the opener of the breakfast tacos that has a different argument for God that works with this meta. Tag it doesn't work in this meta. So this argument is uses monolarity, which is multiple gods, but you worship one god. But yeah, atheists don't want to take on monolarity because it would mean debunking a potentially countably infinite number of gods. Instead, they insist on taking a shortcut and inserting the god of classical theism and then negating it. Now I'm just going to say that atheists worship the negative god of classical theism as my own shortcut. When you say we don't worship negation, I will ask why keep asserting one instead of addressing my god claims. So my negative god of classical theism hypothesis can explain how the atheist code of Austin has enough content to fill multiple shows a day. They're criticizing Yahweh from the perspective of negation of the god of classical theism. and I think I named them Neg Classic, the God of New Atheism. And I welcome back Breakfast Talkers back to theism. That this argument is will work in this meta, but tag's easy to counter.
You're saying you want somebody to have to counter all of them, like the unlimited number of deities?
Absolutely. If you're
That's retarded.
if you're, yeah, well here, yeah, but
if you can, the criticism of one of them will apply to basically all of them.
it doesn't apply to all of them because they all have different properties. That's what count more than
Are
one.
all of them immortal?
No. You
Okay.
see Kratos kill a bunch of them.
What is the unifying characteristic that makes them all gods?
That they're worshipped.
Well, there are things that exist that are worshipped. That's for sure. I mean,
Exactly. Welcome to theism.
and you're retarded again.
These are interesting concepts. Where what Powder Dusty pointed out regarding the idea of logic, it's a mental exercise. It's an interesting to consider the creative source and intelligence and the power that brings forth life. That's quite a concept to consider. And I think Signal said something earlier about selfless versus selfish. One of the things I realized earlier, it's so simple, so obvious. The selfish find fear. And those who are those who are insecure, they're going to find hate. So the way to overcome hate, the way to overcome fear is to humble yourself, to give yourself away for something that's greater than you. We each get to choose each day, each opportunity. And I'm convinced there is a God who loves us, who wants us to thrive. I actually play with the idea in my mind, what if God's will for you and me is to be happy? Right? The Father. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, it just seems like a lot of people's idea of God is this perfect utopia where like God loves you and cares about you, and so everything will be perfect and no problems ever. But there's like an intersect of like reality of like just how life is, and then like how God wants life to be. And I guess, or like ideally how life would be for God and for everyone. And so people look at the idea of God and they see, oh, well, life isn't perfect. There's so much awful in the world. And like, so then because of that, God doesn't exist. But it's like, I don't know. I mean, it's really confusing. It's really confusing because it's easy. It depends on how you look at religion and God, because some people look at religion as God and they look at it as a perfect creator. And it's like, all right, well, if this is if God is the perfect creator, then everything that he created should be perfect and I should be able to understand it without any flaw.
But I think it's this
Like
word
that.
perfect. Oh, sorry.
Oh.
I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt
go
you.
on. Sorry. I'm just rambling.
Frankly,
I don't understand. I'm trying to understand this, but I don't. Go on.
Well,
sorry.
here, if Steelman, if I can jump in.
Oh yeah, thanks. Sure, no problem.
Because that idea of perfection. So if the creator is perfection, then the concept should be that the creation has perfection. And so where do the flaws come from? In our moment of being here and now, where are the flaws?
Well, Powder Dusty, send him on back and the world would be perfect. No, just kidding.
What I realized is it's here. Actually, this kind of brings up another observation I found. Stephen, welcome. Let me get this other idea out real quick. So we have the objective reality, the physical existence of nature and form, right? We're a part of this objective reality. It's real. But then overlaid on top of the objective reality that each of us experience is the interpretation, right? We got the physical, and then we've got the layer of consciousness, of mind. And it's in the mind where we get the thoughts and the labels. And mankind has overcomplicated life. I think God created it to be pretty simple. Love one another.
Well, so isn't this what the whole story of like the Garden of Eden though, and the right? Okay, so yeah, we're on the same page there, right? So at some point, man kind of fell from like being in this perfect cycle of nature where everything lived in symbiosis, to stepping out of that and sort of like, you know, becoming the eliminator of species, you know, the destructor of worlds, so to speak, literally plant like of nature and everything. So at least that's
Hello.
how it looks.
Hello. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Welcome, Stephen.
Thanks for
That's
the welcome. Well,
that's
happy Wednesday. It's Woden's Day, and you said that God, it's simple. You said love each other. I think we should keep it simple. I agree with what you said, Jack. We're in agreement. I'm not bringing disagreements. I'm in agreement.
Well, I could say it's not that simple though, because just loving humans is not enough anymore. You have to love life. You have to love all life in all of its forms.
yes.
I'm trying. I'm trying to love all life.
What prevents it? What prevents your success in the goal of loving all life? That's a
Well,
question for everyone.
oh, that's to everyone.
Well, for you,
Okay.
you said you're
For
trying.
me,
Let's see
I
if we
am
can.
trying. That guy was being a little bit hard on me. The steel man was trying to
Oh,
say that
sorry.
it's not
No,
enough that
I mean, I'm in the same boat. I'll give you an example. I try to love all life. And like when I first put a couple ants in my house, I was like, oh, you know, I'm not going to kill them. And like I I was putting them outside and
When you
everything.
say life, do you mean like plants, insects,
Yeah, I mean like plants. Like
everything,
when you cut down a tree, to
reptiles,
realize the
mammals?
tragedy that you're, you know, that you're bestowing upon not just that tree, but upon like the planet and everyone on it and every form
I
of life.
cry
Like,
every time someone cuts down a tree. I'm
yeah,
very
like that's real
sensitive.
shit though, right? But then it gets
No, I
down
know.
to
I'm being serious though. I'm
right.
being
But then like,
serious.
okay, I'm with you. Okay, you
Sorry,
know.
go ahead. Go ahead.
So, but then it gets to the point where like, when you have enough ants that start coming into your house, at some point you got to be like, all right, these fuckers got to go, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get them fuck out.
No, that's the wrong attitude though.
So how do you approach that situation?
You can't just go all evil on them and
You
be
let the ants live with you.
It's not evil. It's called the balance.
You got to
Yes.
be symbiotic.
They're not hurting you, are they? Are they?
So-
But at some
Are the
point,
ants hurting you?
What
no.
about
But at some
spiders
point, they
that live
start
in your
annoying.
house?
Like they start becoming, they start to become too
Stefan,
many.
if you want to like keep
So-
going with where you're
I mean-
thinking,
So
really,
here's the
human
thing.
beings shouldn't be on Earth.
So,
Really,
so
if you want to make that argument, we should just get rid of all human beings because plants and insects are
Do you
encroaching
think
in
Mother
our
Earth will
land.
get rid of humans? Will Mother
You're
Earth
not.
kill
You're not
us all
looking
up?
at it. You're not looking at this problem from the right perspective. We are, as human beings, at least in the last, I don't know, a few hundred years, generally speaking, we have been encroaching on nature's like land.
And you're
so,
talking about
so
me,
God
right?
They
loves all.
have the rights to be here, and like we're
So are
like
you saying
like
that humans are
them being here
parasites?
is inconveniencing us. That's really
Are you
Yes,
saying
but
humans are parasites to Mother Earth?
well, yeah, he's saying
Signal?
the ants were here first.
maybe not
basically.
for the entire history, not for the entire history of
No,
humankind, but
the
like
last century. Yeah.
definitely as of late in the past few decades, I think humankind has been a detriment, whatever term you might want to use. I
Yes.
think it has been
Let me.
in the last few decades,
Hey,
at
Signal.
least.
Let Jack in here.
Thank you. Let me jump in here because I agree completely. And I've offered this observation for people to consider. The way the industrial nations have developed the toxic culture of, you know, polluting and nothing matters except profits. We've created hell on earth. And these concepts of mass formation, mass psychosis, the idea of the spirit of Wetico. It's been identified throughout different languages and different people all through time. It's a sickness, this colonialism that America has become and is still continuing with the, the colony of Israel being propped up by the American taxpayers.
Oh, yeah.
It's all a sick game of
You're
deception.
starting to like. I agree with you.
The most platitudes I've ever heard in one string.
Jack, I agree with you 100%.
I can get
The
more.
shit that Israel's been doing is obscene and horrendous and war crime, 100%. But like, the whole. Honestly, that I would say Jerusalem, whatever, the conflict that's been going on for 1,000. I don't know, who knows how long now.
A million years.
I would
at
say
least.
that's a good reason. Like, that's like a good like anti-religion opinion. Like,
we should wipe them off the
literally,
map,
the
right?
conflict in the Middle East has been going just because, again, this is in my opinion, let's say hypothetically, right? The conflict in the Middle East has been going because all of these people believe that there's someone in the sky.
It's beyond
Right?
that.
Hypothetically,
It's beyond
I'm not an atheist.
No,
I'm not
no.
saying that that's my opinion. I'm just
Well,
saying.
What about money?
could
It's
believe
beyond what's in the sky.
It's evil. It's evil being incarnated and acted upon. The world, human species, the world is confused. There should be no space, no time here on earth for secrets and lies. That's insanity. It's stupidity. It's absolute foolishness. Yet we've got grown men and women employed by not just our governments, but contracts and, then these other corporations, all these men and women providing for their families, paying for their children's education, manipulating the news and spreading deceptions. Secrets and lies are the disease that we are here to help each other overcome, especially on these live streams here. Blessings to all of you.
Down with Israel and bless you all. God bless you all.
Down with human suffering.
Amen.
Oh, is that better?
Yeah.
so-
Is that better?
Well, not quite. So here's the thing.
No, not quite. Excuse me, not quite.
Yes.
Are you
so
against Palestinian suffering?
Let him explain. Let's
Yeah,
see
Let him
what-
go.
Here's the thing. God created everything. He loves everything, but some things just have to be removed. That's why he allows death in the world at all. Otherwise, he could make every creature immortal. He chooses not to. It's God's prerogative.
Okay, Morpheus.
Death isn't just allowed; it's mandatory. It's every single.
Somebody said, "Okay,
That's
Morpheus."
what life is.
Who said that? Who
I
the
did.
fuck said that?
I said that.
That was funny. All right, come on.
Okay, carry on.
But you didn't
It's
say that.
recycled.
That wasn't you. You didn't say
I
that.
did say that.
You didn't
I
say
said-
that. But that
I said,
was funny
okay.
though. That was funny.
Welcome to Old Joe. Let's
That was
not get
funny.
off track here, guys. Come on, Signal.
All right, just moment of recess. All right.
Yes.
Can we
Hey.
like take a moment to discuss like the epic hats that are behind this gentleman Hank over here? I'm sure all those hats have their own story.
Distraction.
Hey,
Yes.
look at this.
I mean,
What
just
you
let's
think?
just give it a moment.
Here's Signal, please, just a moment. What you think? Thank you for
Excuse
that.
me.
And old Joe, congratulations. You became one of the special members. I'm not
Oh,
sure.
did
the
I win
ticket.
again?
You
Did I
got
get
it.
the membership? I can't see.
Yep,
Yes, he won again.
You won
Wow.
again, old Joe.
You know, that's fairly common. I once gifted a membership on Jim Bob's channel and it came up to me and there were like 400 people in the chat. So this one gift, I've gotten quite a few of those. Thank you to whoever gifted that.
It was what you think. Thank you for the contribution, sincerely. I took the conversations, we drifted off a little bit, but it ties right back into the topic, the joy of faith. There's suffering in this world, but you ever felt the joy of solving someone else's problem? Ever felt the joy of doing a good deed? Helping
You know when
someone-
somebody's got a problem like they're so like whatever, they got a problem with their plumbing, or like they need to do some shit, whatever, and they need a tool. Like, and they're spending so much time like shoveling or like whatever, like they're like basically they have the wrong tool, right? And you have the right tool, and you're like, you can see them using the wrong tool, and you're like, yo, come over here. And you're like, yo, right here, you could borrow it right here. This is the right tool. You'll do it easily. And like they go from like spending, such a long time trying to do it once, and boom, half a second, boom, just finishing it like entire yard as like 5 minutes as opposed to like 5 hours.
Oh yeah, it's like
That's like, I feel like that's such a good feeling when you can when you put somebody on, when you're like, yo, this is like whatever, this is the thing. When you're like, yeah, this, like somebody's like, oh, I got this problem, and then you fix it for them. You're like, yeah, boom. Not even just fix it, but you help them, like enhance. You
yeah,
take
I
them a
did.
step for that's like great.
Yeah, I did that
That's
today.
better. It's
Yeah, I
better than when you have it for yourself. When you're like, yeah, dude, I like this person and I just help them out. Really, yeah.
All right, man. You want my cash app?
Well, I mean, cash
Come on,
definitely
no
helps
laughs about that.
in the
That was a joke.
immediate, but I think when you can help someone in a more specific, personal way, I think
No,
Hank
I'm
was
just
going to
playing,
tell
man.
some stories.
Nobody thinks my jokes are funny when I try to make them on here. This is like
Welcome,
that's like
old Joe. Welcome.
Hank, what were you saying?
Thank you, King Stephen. How are
Sorry.
you feeling today?
Like go on.
I feel fantastic. Thanks for asking.
All right. Yo, Hank, can you would you like I've at this point I forgot what you were saying earlier, but we're all like interrupting you. Excuse me.
Yeah, so that's something I did today, where I showed Jack a more appropriate argument for God for this current meta against atheists. They actually do not want to address that argument. So if you use that argument, you're gonna be fine for at least your next 5 debates. It's gonna take that many before they'll figure out even a counter argument. So it's just a better tool.
Like you get a penalty?
A penalty?
How about this? I'm not sure. I'm trying to bring this back a little bit because regardless of what anyone thinks about God, I think we should find a way to have some respect for what is true, the truth, right? And that's all I'm suggesting for the idea of ending secrets and wars is we place a little more priority on the truth, what is important, what is not important. And it might be hard, it might be challenging, and it might even seem unlikely to get the attention of people in Congress, and then to even convince them that it's time for humanity to change directions rather than serving the bankers' lies and the bureaucracy of wealth and authority. We can transform this world into something pretty special, which is what I believe God's intentions are.
Well, Jack, have you heard of this new like technocrat movement thing? Yeah, it's kind of like what reminds me similar to what you're saying.
Elon Musk's father was on board with that.
Yeah, and it sounds like, I'm not like, I just actually been recently hearing about this as far as it sounds like that's what Elon Musk also is probably basically implementing, right? That's actually what we're seeing right now is sort of a revolution of our government and sort of a takeover and a change in the whole system. Right before people's eyes, people don't really realize what's happening right now, but
I'm not worried.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not saying to be worried. Yeah, like he says, don't be worried.
I feel like everybody's like saying
because it's in God's hands.
Maybe I'm naive, maybe I'm being foolish, but I genuinely am confident in the American people's ability to
think,
reject.
Okay, because I would like to know where you got that confidence coming, because I have about zero in that department.
I would say like you guys remember the what year was it? The Japanese internment camps?
right? The same act that was
That was a
used,
long time ago.
like in the 30s or
Right,
whatever.
the
Sure.
alien
Yeah,
something
that we're
act,
using
yeah.
today to. Yeah.
1940, maybe. Yeah.
What about it?
I mean,
So
I
Where are you
don't
going
know.
with this?
what's your point?
Yeah.
It was. I just think that that was an example of this sort of instance.
Where Americans didn't rise up and stop terrorists on their own soil against their own citizens?
No,
Yeah.
I as in to where they did.
What?
We didn't, did we? We let those intern camps happen, and we let
Right.
the government round up people on our soil.
Wait, are you saying the internment camps were good? Signal? Do you think
No,
that?
that's not what I'm saying.
I don't know what you're saying. Then I'm trying to figure it out.
Thank you,
What are you
Steve.
getting
No,
at?
that's not at
Yes.
all
What
what
are you
I'm
getting
saying.
at?
Signal, I think you're confused, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel bad. I didn't mean to attack you like that. I
No,
apologize.
I
for coming at me
literally,
like-
I have a degree, a Bachelor of Science in, what's it called? History studies. Literally,
It's your story, dude. But what does that have
it's
to do
great.
with having
Look, I'm not. I don't hate Asians. Okay,
all
I
right.
don't hate Asians.
Oh, okay.
All right.
It's
I'm just gonna
Signal.
say that.
Hey, Signal,
oh,
why don't you sit back for a little bit, okay? Because contributions aren't as helpful as you're telling yourself, my buddy. And you're welcome. God's got us in the right place at the right time, all times.
Enjoy the show, ladies and gentlemen.
Praise God. Sincerely.
That's not looking good.
But here, in regard to what Signal was saying, Steelman, I appreciated you calling it out because I don't know what he's talking about. But based on the signs I have seen, I do have faith in humanity. I haven't lost complete hope. I actually believe that we're experiencing an awakening. We are a part of it. But the flood at this time, in the past, it was said the flood comes through and it changes the society and everything that was. The flood we're dealing with right now, I think, is information about the consequences. We're in a world we're being flooded with information and data. And those who have risen to power and wealth, they know the way to control people. I mean, that guy, Noval Harari, whatever his name is, he's a brilliant guy. He's got the ear of the most influential, wealthy people in the world. And online, well, in the real world, many people are working hard, trying to survive, trying to pay their debts. But we've been confused. Mankind became divided. And in the divisions, we've lost our way. But God created us to go forth and multiply. To multiply, we unite. When we unite together, we combine efforts, we combine intelligence, most of all. If we combine in the right way. And I believe we are. It's my prayer. God's using me. It's my prayer that this will lead to greater things, online and off, for the purposes of ending wars, bringing immediate reforms into not only America, but throughout the world, confronting these demons and corporations and governments and all the nonsense that has mankind enslaved.
So, Jack, in terms of the confrontation that took place in the White House there between Zelensky and Trump, what were your thoughts on that? What did you take out of that?
It was unfortunate. It was unfortunate, but I see it as evidence. Donald Trump and Vice President Vance, they're very clear and open. Their push is for American supremacy. And I see them kind of like bullies, picking on the guy, the little kid who's in a fight, even though Zelensky, I know he's an actor and he's playing his part, but I saw, the guy's in it. He's the representative, Zelensky. He's the representative of a nation state that, from their perspective, has been invaded and attacked. And so they're doing their best to survive while at the same time, trying to ally with NATO and America, thinking that they would support them in the fight, right? Because that's what it's all about. It's a proxy war between America and Russia. But
I see it as theater. I think it's all God's theater. This is like a play for God, and this is all God's plan in the end. And a lot of us think we're powerful and controlling this shit, but really it's in God's hands.
It's God. And
So
so then
what did you think when the guy, I don't know who asked the question, but one of the fellows asked Zelensky why he wasn't wearing a suit during that meeting?
I didn't see that, but
You didn't see that? He kind of
no.
made fun of him for wearing his whatever they are, fatigues or whatever he
Oh,
wears.
okay.
Yeah, Musk wasn't wearing a suit with his meeting at the White House when he had his kid sitting on his shoulders and all that stuff.
I think they should put on a suit just like Untrackable shaved his beard.
I honestly think they, if you want to know, get down to it, I say never trust a person. I was high enough on mushrooms once. I was like, never trust a person
I've
with
never
clothes on.
seen him without his beard. I can't even tell who it is.
They should just have to wear
only
no
tell.
clothes. Honestly, be honest as fuck and go up there and expose themselves to the world and be as honest and true to the world as fucking possible. Don't put on a suit, fucking take.
Wait
off
a
your
second,
clothes, you know what I'm saying?
Steelman, you wouldn't trust me if I was wearing a Hugo Boss suit. You wouldn't trust me then. That would disqualify me from being trustworthy. My clothing.
Well, if I was enlightened enough, you're damn right.
Wow.
I want to come back to that question about thoughts on that meeting between Zelensky and the United States Commander-in-Chief representative. It was a poor step towards peace. It was focused on obtaining the mineral rights and resources of a foreign nation. It's all been manufactured debts. This money scheme, funding the wars, selling weapons to each other. It's a scheme, right? There's real profits
Called money
being made,
laundering, my friend.
and there's real lives being lost as a result of these sick games. And so God created
Money laundering.
That too.
I hate vodka.
Oh, I used to love vodka, man. I know that feeling. He's just
I
chill.
got very sick on it though.
What's
I
that?
threw up. I threw up one time on. I got very sick when I drank vodka in Mexico. My parents had taken us to Cancun, and I got sick drinking tequila and vodka and beer, and I was a teenager, and I got very, very sick. Poor Mexican maid had to clean up my sheets, my bedding that was just puked all over it. It was just gross. I was hungover. What?
That's pretty rude. Sucks.
Well, I didn't mean to. I was only a teenager. I got very drunk.
Sure.
But I never drank vodka since then. That was it.
Yeah. This comment, Jesus Christ is the truth. Took me a long time to accept that as a truth for myself. But Christ is not just the truth. He's the answer, right? He's the embodiment, the example of love. I believe the Father is the truth, and it's through the knowing of our Father, we get, through the grace of our Father, the truth. The love has been revealed and has been explained and has been demonstrated through the perfect example for us all to know of, Jesus Christ. And he spoke the truth. Forgiveness is the answer. Our Father wants mercy, not sacrifice. The world we've been living in, and I am an example, right? There's been a lot of amazing, unsettled people who've been a part of my experience. They've been focusing on trying to punish me based on thoughts, not facts. And here's a thought. What I really believe the problem with the world, well, it's all perfect design, but collectively, I think my own experience and others, people blame people for God, or they blame God for what people do. They blame God for what people do. There's no point in blaming. There's no point in blaming ourselves. There's no point in blaming each other. There is every reason to celebrate with joy, with love, with faith. Because if you've got a breath in you, you are not done. That's the key. Realize it. We're not done. We're just becoming until we're done.
So if you have somebody approach you, Jack, with the argument that you hear lots, if there was a God, he wouldn't allow evil and war in the world. Very common argument. What's your response in that case?
It's hard to initially comprehend, but there's plenty of evidence that supports every bit of evil and trauma, injustice in the world has led to lessons. Other people have been, like after World War II, there was many things learned and studied from human behavior. How did this happen? And a lot of men and women, they devoted their life. They found their purpose in trying to understand, trying to explain, trying to prevent the worst from ever happening again. The evil is there as a comparison for the light, but
yeah, we need that, right? To show us what light and good is. We need the evil.
God thought we did, but here's what I believe. You take
Okay.
the stories as true, right? Just allow them to be true to some degree, and it makes sense. The God creates the heavens and the earth, creates the beings like us, but different, the angels. They're created in perfection. And then one of them gets a little egoic, starts battling. The battles and the separation, the selfish ones are sent to the world. And then the selfish ways have been taught to us, who were divinely created to be in the image and the likeness of God, in the ways and beingness of Christ Jesus. So by the time we came along, evil had been here a long time. And even Jesus had talked about that as well. The scriptures did. But I believe the story is going to be that we will, in following the way of Christ, because of his example, we will unite, we will overcome the evil, and earth will become a place where the body of Christ rules, where men and women, as children of God, unite to be the holy mind and heart of God here on earth. So it won't be maybe God's got in place, some divine one who's going to return, but I truly believe it's us. We're going to reclaim the world from the darkness and lead those in darkness into the light.
Heaven
When
on
you say
earth.
us, are you talking about humanity? Is that what you mean?
He means me and him. Jack means me and him.
So Jack,
As
when
a
you say
team.
you believe it's us, are you implying that there's a possibility that could be someone other than us or something other than us?
No, I don't think so.
We being people alive today, March 19th, 2025, and the people born before and after, we're just part of God's story, the continuing development of life and form here on earth.
Do you think the evil predates us? You mentioned Jesus and mentioning the evil. So that evil that's on earth predates us as humans, you mean? It's older than us, this evil?
Well, good and evil, those are perceptions. Perceptions are, thoughts. So good and evil are thoughts. There is that which is, and that which is God. It is through God and God's grace that we have eyeballs and minds and ears and taste buds and feelers. right? It's all divinely come together. God imagined us into being. Whether people recognize it or not, we're all making it up as we go. Life. Life is made up moment by moment by moment through God and each of us. And
I
I
would
have,
say it would be a fairly reasonable statement to say that evil predates us. I think that there are several examples you can point to of events that we would, and it is something that is obtuse, but that we
So
would
you're
call
not
evil.
blaming humanity for evil then? Are
Well,
you saying it isn't
you would
humanity
have
that
to first
creates
of all
evil?
decide what you're calling humanity. What do you mean when you say that?
The collective humans like you, the Steel Man, Untrackable Jack, Rose,
Okay.
everyone else.
How
Yeah.
about Homo florensis? Are they humans too?
Homo what?
See,
Well,
That's not
we're one recognized
I'm not
branch of
talking about
humanity.
homos now. I'm talking about humans.
See, but you're capable of having a good conversation, and I just asked you a genuine question. We are one
Yeah.
branch of the human species. Are you just talking about our branch, or are you including others?
I'm
let's just say,
including the whole tree. The whole
The
tree.
whole tree, so say Neanderthals, you would include them as well?
I would include them, yeah. They looked a
Okay,
bit funny, but I would include them.
so they actually predate us, and
I know, but most of
there are
us
some
have some
acts of
Neanderthal
horrific
in
evil
us.
that have been
why,
preserved in the
Sorry.
fossil record.
But why are you going to those details? Like you're kind of
well,
No, it's very specific.
I
We're talking
I
about evil predating humanity.
but I was
no,
asking about humans creating evil. Like, do you think there'd be evil on Earth without humans? Modern day humans,
right.
forget
And I
about
think
Well,
that was a really great point. Because
Neanderthal.
what
yeah,
that made
I
me
could
think
tell
of
you
it.
what I believe. Go ahead, Steelman. I'll speak after you.
Well, because that made I was wanted to touch on that point is like if how animal you have predators right in the predator world, so like a zebra is probably think that lions are evil or something like that, right? And so um, that's the question: is are lions evil in the perspective of a zebra? And so is nature or what we perceive to be evil, like killing something to survive, is that sort of inherently built into nature? Is evil or our perception of it sort of
What
part of
about
nature?
killing not to survive? These people that kill just for a thrill. Let's get to the point here
Yeah,
beyond
no, I
just
think
survival.
Steelman asked a fabulous question. I'd like
Okay.
to take it on if I could.
Take a shot at it then.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. The fact that evil is almost relativistic in nature. Does the zebra consider the lion to be evil? And in my opinion, this is a guess, and I can't defend it. I believe that we all live under the rules of objective reality. These concepts of evil and good are constructs that have helped us survive, but our position on evil and good and what evil is and working evil is a mere blip, is insignificant when compared to the objective reality that we live in. We could work all the evil that we wanted, and it wouldn't even be noticeable in terms of the overall what I consider God or
Well, now
objective
hold on a second.
reality.
I would question that and say, if I were to consciously work one bit of evil in my life, I feel like that would have major ramifications within my own personal life that I
Okay,
would
so
notice.
take it, yeah, sure. So take that through to the biggest conclusion you can. Let's say you work the largest act of evil that you could, and you obliterate all life on the planet. In terms of the greater objective reality that we're all bound to, how significant was that act?
Okay, yeah, okay, now I'm getting what you're saying, but see, so it depends on what, like you're saying, what is the greater whole, and I think that the person's each individual life is the greater significance, right? So like your life is the most, you know what I'm saying, your experience with God, like so. It's kind of goes into this Luciferian type doctrine or whatever, this idea that you are God, right? That consciousness is God, that like your experience is actually God, like you're the dreamer. Let me
Yeah.
give it that way.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
The
so what I
dreamers.
would say to
Yeah.
that, what I would say to that is there's a possibility, and we're in shaky territory, right? This is stuff that's been debated for thousands of years. But there's a possibility that when you talk about my perception of good, your perception of good, that's actually an ego trap. we're falling into a trap of ego rather than considering the larger concept of God.
Well,
Right.
old Joe, you're sounding a bit like a moral relativist here, though, with good and evil.
Well,
But let's get
I
back to
think we
Jack.
all
What are
are.
your thoughts, Jack? Because I think we're getting a bit off track here. We're getting a
Yeah,
little
but
bit wrapped up
we
in this.
all are. I would argue, King Stephen, that we're all moral relativists in the end.
Well, no, I would
We
say
have
that
no choice.
there is a
Why would
definite
you
good.
argue?
Why would I argue that we're moral relativists?
Why? What's the relevance?
So the moral relativist piece is the fact that based on the fact that we have free will and that our own senses fail us quite often, we actually have to doubt, we actually have to weigh the evidence of what comes in, what we perceive through our vision, through our hearing, and decide which is the best decision. We talked
Okay.
about this before. That
Right.
makes us relativists.
But what is the relevance to the stream?
I
What
was answering the question that Steelman asked.
Okay. I lost track of the conversation, perhaps.
No,
these
yeah,
guys-
he was ultimately getting into, is there a good or evil? Like, can you actually pinpoint what good is and what evil is? Because if you can't, then you can't pinpoint what's good or evil.
And where we came from was whether evil predated us as humanity. Was evil
Right.
here before? That was where
Right.
that conversation went.
It's been wondered about for eons, but what does the answer solve? What I've been learning is from many of the spiritual teachings, you move beyond the good and bad, which is what I think you were pointing at. There's some relativity in the discernment of what's good and bad. We move beyond the good and the bad in order to see that which is true, because that which is true is whole. And that's the key to God, is to overcome, to trust that there is a truth to why the world is the way that it is this moment. There's a reason.
Well, and like we've spoken about, that's why we all start from faith, right? In my opinion, because we have to trust. In the end, you can't continue to operate as a cynic. At some point, you have to move forward with some trust and faith, in my opinion.
Well, I would actually say that it's sort of like a hybrid of of what Jack was saying, is that as a spiritual teacher or whatever, I would say that you can decide what's a good decision for you in your life, but you have to accept the things that aren't your decisions as being purely neutral
Yes,
or
and I
possibly
think
good.
that's true. And would you not agree that when you're making these decisions about what's good for you and your life, you then become a relativist?
Well, this
Then you
is
just,
part of the trap, I think. Our
well,
ego. Go ahead, Steelman.
I don't think you become necessarily a relativist. You become I wouldn't even say it, you could say an optimist, but it's a person who realizes that they can't calculate all of the unknowns, all of the unknown variables. So then, as you said, you have faith that all of the unknown variables are actually in your favor, and
Sure.
even
So
though it's perceived, yeah.
how do you make your final decision as to which action to take?
So when you take a personal decision, right, that's based on what you perceive as, well, he says truth or whatever, but I'm saying, to make that simpler, that's what when you take a personal decision, you take it on what you perceive to be as good or what you
Okay,
perceive to
so
be as right.
agreed. So you have chosen that which you perceive to be as right over what that you perceive to be as wrong, or that which is more right over that which is less right. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah.
Doesn't that make you a relativist?
Well, every moment is relative to another.
I agree.
There's constant
I agree.
flux.
So I think the term is vilified wrong in the wrong fashion. I think relativistic thinking is almost inescapable, and it's used to mean something else these days. There are
Okay.
lots of religious debaters, for example, the ortho bros, who claim they're not relativists, when I think they actually are, and we all are.
Okay.
Did you have something that you were going to say by chance about that? It kind of seemed like you maybe agreed and disagreed at some point, so I was curious.
Yeah, I guess I would It's the educational process that leads to the individual decision. So you learn, and then you do, and then you teach, but you never stop learning. And so when it comes down to you having to make a decision, it will change how you teach. It will change how you do, and how you change how you do will change how you teach. But it's across a time frame, and eventually, you will have to make a decision that, um, having been here long enough to see something that you were not taught and you did not do, but you have to experience, and you have to rely on the knowledge to make a decision for you now. And it will be completely independent of everything that you have done and everything that you were taught. And then, should you survive that decision, now you can continue to teach. You understand?
I just want to jump in for one moment and say a lot of people say that a decision is good for them, but it harms others. At that point, I would say it's morally wrong. You're doing something for your benefit that harms others. I would say that you can put your relativism aside. You're doing harm to someone to benefit yourself.
Well,
And
let me just interject with
that's more
that.
satanic.
Well,
That's the
well,
go
and
ahead.
I would counteract that statement by saying self-preservation. Yes, I'm going to make a decision that will keep me alive, but it might kill you. But
Don't
then,
kill me.
no, but
I
then
want to
that's
live.
when it's to be. It's like, oh well, should I have been violated by this person in some way, shape, or form, or should I have stood up and been uh, a protector of me and mine? You know what I'm saying? Because like Jack says about Jesus and I'm not a Jesus freak, but when you look at the correlations, hey, nobody wanted to stand up, and when somebody stood up, they got hung on a cross, and he was like, "It's okay, guys. They're gonna win the war against my life and what I did, but you all will win the war of righteousness."
If we choose, right? Back to the decisions. What are we going to do? We can only choose when we have an idea, when the opportunity is there. Most people are going through life, the people of habits, the people living the American dream, going through life day to day, same routine over and over. They're filled with memories. They're not filled with ideas. They're not filled with inspiration. They're not filled with joy. They're not filled with life. They're dead inside because they lost their way. I'm speaking from experience when I say they. I mean me in my past. By God's grace, my life is transformed. And the idea of doing good for one another, we don't control what other people do, and we don't always know what is good and what is not. When I lost the world I was living in, right? I used to have a son who loved me in this house, right? I'd have friends who would come by and visit me, or they'd call me and invite me to go hang out with them. I had a life, and then it was gone. The routine was gone. The job was gone. The reputation was gone. The support was gone. I thought I lost joy, but I found freedom. I found the freedom to devote myself to the mission of something greater than me, right? I found in my mind the idea that the world could become better. And if the world could become better and I could become better, well, maybe I could become a part of making the world better. I've stumbled, I've cursed at some people, I've yelled at some people, but brothers and sisters, you're a part of this Talcottian adventure, and so far, it's a crazy story. Because like the story of Jesus, when I was a kid, I wondered, why didn't anybody else stand up? Why'd they watch him go through that? I mean, that's kind of crazy. But then I learned the American way, and that's what it is. People sit back and watch the authority do what they're going to do or complain about others doing what they're doing. I think this is safe. We got another guest here. I think it's safe. Is that Rose?
Yeah, it is me. I don't know why my avatar options are going up. Hi, Jack. It's so good to see you again today. And King Stephen.
It's a
hello, Rose. Hello.
I am here to humbly ask that perhaps you'll give Tommy one more chance today to join. Would you be open?
Oh, I missed it. Was Tommy here? I second that. I think he should be given
Well,
another
I'm
chance.
here, Jack, because the whole thing was that I was hoping to be a mediator and we didn't get that chance because, as we discussed after our last conversation, you were already so frustrated by the time Tommy finally showed up. Maybe things would have gone differently if things had been according to my plan where he showed up as soon as he saw I was here. You know what I mean? So now, is it okay if you bring him back?
He's not in the back to be brought up.
Tommy!
If Tommy's willing to click the link, we'll clear this out. Gentlemen, be patient, please. This is something I've been hoping to resolve peacefully.
Everything you've set up here is blasphemous heresy. And if you studied the Bible like you claim you do, and I obviously see all you study is New Age YouTube regurgitation, you'd know exactly why you're spouting blasphemous heresy. And the advantage to me is I see all the faggotry in your chat that still back you, the goblins, the freaks, the penis cupcakes. You're all garbage, and you're about to go away, Jack, because I believe you, and you are this stupid to just push this unslaved idea till you are homeless, and you'll already be crazy when you hit the streets. Now, all I came up here to point out, Jack, in your contradiction, is you seem to have a bar or a condition to your love, faggot.
I'm sorry you feel that. Let me start
Fuck you. Talk like a fucking man, or pretend you're one for a second. Don't give me this deflective fucking bullshit that your family left you over.
Thank you for joining me, Tommy. See, you're
Fuck
doing what
you. You'll never join me again, Jack. You'll join hell sooner.
Can I point out?
I'm sick of looping this bullshit, and I'm sick of this stupid community that'll sit by and watch it obliviously.
But what if it's not the way you think
it is?
Well, Tommy, I have to give you credit because you're doing what my
Your credit's no good, just like that loan on your house.
You're right. My credit is shit. Although I keep getting
So is your word, so is your faith, so is anything that spouts out of your mouth. Except for when you're honest, when you said you believe in your daddy and you're happy that he's back, and you'll both fall by my metaversal hand. And tell Flow State him too, because people ultimately want truth, and I bring that. And when I fuck up, I own up. That's more than anyone out here can say that would go against me and my one true God.
I believe that you can and do when you recognize that you've been wrong.
And I know that you don't, and I'm sick of this lip service bullshit. I can't wait until you're homeless. Because maybe you'll see then. Maybe you'll know, and you'll remember that you tried to play that you used to be homeless, and we all knew that was a lie, just like most of this shit that comes out of your mouth.
Tom, you clearly care.
He does.
I fucking care about the truth, and that's why you're my enemy and God's enemy. And anyone that would say different needs to wait a week and come see me, because I'll take my strike for calling Flow State a faggot. It's more truth than when he says I'm homeless. But you'll sit there and back him up, just like Paul could come right up right now. You boot me in Rose and say, "Oh, Daddy, welcome back."
They're not here. You are.
They are watching, Jack. Everyone always is, unless they're host state. You're weak, Jack. You're showing it. You're weak.
I'm not
Just
sure
a
what.
moment. What if we tried a different communication
Are you
strategy?
trying to get me and Jack to get a band back together, Rose? I'm just using you to make sure I get a minute to get my word out. And when he boots me and goes against Crow Team again, he'll never stand a chance, like possibly getting off the street. He's worse off than I was when my wreck put me on the street.
I'm not trying to get you guys to get back into the band together.
You're serving your purpose, Rose. You got me up here to say the thing uninterrupted. Now you can't do what he needs to do. You can't give him truth, and you can't break that finger that shares comments.
But what if
Goblin, you're under a great delusion. Jack is under a great delusion. The only difference is neither of you can come up and counter me, because I'm on that path. I'm doing it. That's me. I'm on the path.
Can I
not gargling my own seminal fluid like Jack's fucking daddy?
Can I change topics? This one seems to have you upset.
Here. What would you change the fucking topic to? How to get food when you have no roof?
Actually,
how to fix a fucking hybrid car yourself? You can't do it.
I want to be honest with you, but I don't want you to get upset.
You want to, but you won't be.
I will, but please don't get upset. I was wondering if you would entertain the thought of
punching you in the fucking face many a fucking time.
I knew you were going to say that.
Me. I would love a clip that I could play, and you're so friggin' amazing, Tommy. I would love a clip for Paul.
Shut the fuck up! It doesn't work on me. You're lying! If I was so fucking amazing and you had so much fucking love for me, your behavior with your mod god would not be what it is. You're garbage. And you're a fucking heresy liar. That bullshit you've said all show about my God's word that you don't know.
I've made some mistakes.
You will burn in hell for eternity, Jack. You will. And I can't save you. You can't save yourself. And if you read your fucking Bible, you'd know that.
Well, why don't we just read the Bible right now? What if we just turn things around and let's open up the Bible and read it right now and open up to the page and see if it can provide us some kind of divine intervention that will give us all some kind of common understanding.
Rose, not serving your purpose right now. There's LARP church for that. Now you've allowed this man to just open up his cherry picking time. You see how he's already got it highlighted? Close the window, Jack. We can handle this like men because you've shown you're not on that team, and I'm sick of sitting here letting you try to pretend. Faggot, nigger.
Tom, when you drop your anger, you'll feel better.
I will not drop my anger to you because you are God's enemy and I am free to hate you like he does. He's not with you. You are under a strong delusion. This is the last interaction you ever get with me. I'm a Hyoki fucking empath. I only illuminate truth. It's why your daddy's down. It's why you're down. It's why Flow State still comes to my fucking backstage. You're garbage. You're liars. You're a dark fucking tribe.
Tommy, pause. You're working yourself up. He's left the backstage.
I feel like that was his final climactic exit and that maybe he won't ever be back.
Or he'll look at the source of his anger, which is inside of himself, And when he decides he's done feeling angry, I'll welcome him back as a friend. I didn't push him away. He shoved me away.
I would have wanted to try different ways to communicate to get your ideas across to each other, but at this point, it seems like maybe there needs to be a cool off period.
Sure. Sure. You can do.
He says that he will never be back. It sounds like he's being
Yeah.
serious. Will never be back. And the way he was screaming that like that, it really feels like he's had it. And I don't going to try and convince you that you're not going to be able to do your hopes and dreams. I know that he's possibly going to be homeless, but for him, that's part of his adventure. And when I went through my homeless experience, I too was like, ooh, this is going to be an adventure. But I do regret having that mentality. But you have to learn that for yourself if you're going to have your homeless adventure like I had mine. And your homeless adventure will be easier because you can pee in bushes and you're not in a wheelchair.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
God has blessed me.
See, every day you can
the blessings will continue.
Easier than what Rose did.
What's that?
What your homeless experience will be much easier than I did it for a while, so you could do it. And if you go to Washington, who knows, maybe a miracle will happen. We just have to wait and see.
Well, I believe in the unbelievable God. Hey, we've got folks who have been patient in the back, but I'm actually thinking it's 2 hours. Maybe I should start doing some final words and wrapping up. Rose, thank you. What's that?
I'll talk to you later. Have a great day, Jack.
Blessings. And thank you. Thank you for the effort. I'm sorry I couldn't do better for Tom, but we'll find ways to get along.
Me too. Well, there's always time to try.
That's it. I'm going to drop you out. And you know what? I dropped all you guys out kind of suddenly. You stuck around a little bit. Let me give you a chance. Folks,
oh, I was just going to say that, I mean, that was actually really funny, I mean, maybe I was just in a funny mood. I don't know, but I was cracking up. That was a good time. I appreciate you putting a smile on my face. And, I got these kids in the background. I know you usually call it at about 2 hours. So that's what I was going to say. I'll really appreciate being on your panel, and I'll catch you hopefully on the next one then, man.
Much love. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure still, man. Other thoughts? Ideas? Untrackable?
Jack, I just wanted to come up here real quick to let you know, man, it's not new age. It's actually ancient wisdom. And you're not wrong for trying to find the truth about God. I get persecuted every day for my beliefs. So just do your thing, man. Much love, y'all.
Peace. Thank you. Hey, Mr. Thank you. I saw you in the back. My apologies. It was a lot going on. And I do hope you may return. I hope other folks may return. Other thoughts? Untrackable? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking when you see people that you disagree with their way of life, or their opinions, or whatever it may be, you can spout it from the top of the mountain, but the only thing that is going to change a person is them accepting that they need to change and inflicting that pain upon themselves. So this whole "you're wrong" or "I disagree with you" type of mentality, it's okay to have your opinions about things and even about people and how they do things, but to think that you're not doing right by yourself while you are the only one that can change yourself, I think that's wrong. So if you're going through something, everybody in the world might have their opinion about what they know about you, but you are the only one that can activate change in your life. And you are the only one going through what you're going through right now. As you.
Right.
Thank you.
We're all going through this together as ourselves. Thank you for joining me today. Appreciate you, brother. As Varun, I was kind of shutting down. You showed up.
Yeah,
Thoughts?
yeah. The way Ilyu Tommy acted, I was highly displeased with his behavior. I mean, you're so patient. You put up with a lot of this through a lot of patience. I don't know how you do it, but I didn't like his behavior today. Every time he's too arrogant and he's too short tempered. He thinks he only knows everything correctly and everyone else is wrong when compared to him. His attitude is not good actually.
Yeah. Patterns of ego. Egos shine in the spotlight, and there's these panels offer a little bit of spotlight for egos to shine. I have respect for Tommy, despite his behavior and attitude of today, and despite his offensive patterns. I care about him quite a bit. So thank you, Asverin. I'm
Yeah.
ready to shut down now. Anything else?
The problem is that it's 4:29 in the morning when you host your show. I'll be asleep many times, so even though I want to join for a long time, it will be like a bit difficult for me to do it.
I've been meaning maybe I'll float the start time again in the future. So stay tuned. I do appreciate you joining when you're able to and as you can.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna start wrapping up. Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Peace. Stephen?
Well, Jack, I'm just here to bring calm to the storm if I can, with my voice and my calmness. And I appreciate you having me on. I'm trying to be humble here and not get wrapped up in my ego. It was quite something to see. I have no hatred for Tommy. He's quite entertaining and he's very passionate about his beliefs. And I've got to respect that. At least he is passionate about his beliefs. We disagree, but anyway, thanks for having me on, and bless you all today, and blessings to all of you here.
Much love. Thank you. Appreciate it. Old Joe?
Thank you, sir, for leaving me for last. Hey, the man is clearly seeking a relationship with you, very clearly. I just don't think he knows what it looks like. And his method for pursuing that relationship is not going to be successful. And that's on him. That behavior has to change, and that's his responsibility to do that. So you're giving him every opportunity to do so. But I still say that there is kindness in the man. I believe I see it. So that's my spiel. Hey, thank you very much for having me up, sir.
Much love, Old Joe. Thank you. Sincerely appreciate all of you, all who tuned in, all who joined on the panel or in the however. Blessings to you. Tommy, if you're here, or for others who are witness, right? Some emotional feelings. There's a lot of drama. There's a lot of chaos that happens on these panels. And, this Jack Talcott channel, if you're new, do the subscribe thing if you haven't, right? There's some things that are happening here. Oh, snafu. That's right. I forgot. You're here too. I'll give you an opportunity before my final words. Snafu.
Well, Jack, I think earlier at the start of the show, we had a decent conversation. Once you Nazi'd me and stuff, it kind of got sidetracked. I did drop 2 of the Jack Tells. I put it in your backstage. Tonight we'll be putting episode 5, but we dropped 3 and 4. I put number 4 in.
Will you
the
answer a
object
question?
of Jack Tells 4
Will you
is
answer
you
a
said to
question?
change.
While you're
Go
here
ahead.
promoting yourself, will you answer a question?
Yeah, but I also want to say the reason Jack Tells 4 is interesting is you've told us for years you've changed, and these audio tapes
They'll show what they show. Here you go, Snafu. More evidence of me being good to you. You want to learn more about Jack and what other people have to say about Jack? Go subscribe to Snafu Snaps and the crew. They apparently have all the inside dirt on Jack Talcott. See, because they went back and they called out the people who are willing to come out of the woodwork for what? The question I wanted to ask Snafu, what are you hoping to gain? What are you hoping to gain by publicly diminishing me? What's your purpose? What are you gaining? What is Charles gaining? What is Chemo gaining? You're not bringing justice to anyone or anything, Mr. Snafu Snaps. You're playing games with my life. You too, Charles Smith. Margot, you did too. And Brian Warden, if you're listening. And JR. All these characters, man. But here's what I realized. Let's bring it back to the greater picture, the joy of faith. The joy of faith is what I hope to share because faith feels good. Faith feels so good, man. I won't go off into the levels of joy and just the ecstasy of being with, right? Seeking relationships, seeking time with God, with the source, with the power and intelligence of love and wisdom. Those things are there for you. They're energetic qualities. They're energetic frequencies that bring life into form, energetic qualities of intelligence, of love. That's who you are. That's who I am. So I've been practicing surrendering my fears, right? Surrendering my worries. And here it's Jack Talcott's story. It's March 19th. I got a text from the property manager wanting to make sure that I would be abiding by the terms of the agreement. And so time is ticking. I don't know what the future is going to bring. I don't know where I'm going to go. I don't have all the answers, but you know what? I'm not done. And the answers will show when it's time. There's a perfection to the unfoldment of your life, just like there's a perfection to the unfoldment of my life. If I'm destined to travel in the car, to be without shelter, like, you know, the people who care, Tommy's emotions, it's because he cares. He doesn't want to see a man he cares about. He doesn't want to admit it, but he cares about me. And he doesn't want to see me suffer. And he sees me doing things that he finds foolish. And that's why he's angry at me. This is what other people did in my past. Charles Smith, you know, tune into Snafu and you'll get familiar with these names. Those are people from my past who felt I was living my life wrong according to them. And because they thought I was wrong, they worried. And then they got angry. And then it just snowballed downhill from there. But what I learned, brothers and sisters, God has already answered. I've said before publicly that my prayers have not been answered yet. I have not achieved justice. I don't know where my shelter is going to be. I don't know what to do for money or relationship or love or all those things that are normal wants that people have. My dreams have not yet been fulfilled. But I have so much faith that in the future they will be. Here's why. Because God has already answered prayers for me that I didn't know to ask for. I didn't know to ask God to help me see the beauty of your world again. Help me see the colors. Help me see the flavors. Help me feel, right? Help me feel life and all that it brings. Once again, I didn't think to ask those things. Yet God has offered me forth so much. My mind opened and things became more clear for me in this world about what I want. What I want is what I have. What I have is God in my life. And with God in my life, I have everything I need. And join me where you are, who you are, as you are right now. And invite and recognize and thank you, God, for being with me. Thank you, Christ, Holy Spirit. Thank you for being with me, for For it is through me, the body of me, that I get to experience you. God is the experience of life and everything beyond that. It's within it. It's behind it. It's beyond it. God is with you. God is the truth. So rest in the present moment of the truth of who you are and see your safety, see your blessings. Bring into your heart the gratitude. Overwhelm yourself with gratitude. This is a practice I do. You can, through mind and reality, truth and thought and intentions, you can bring ideas of so much gratitude into your heart that you start crying. Tears of joy. Tears of joy are found by the humble. See, because the prideful, they don't really care. I'm going to wrap it up here. I could talk about love, talk about God, talk about peace day and night. But it's been a long stream, and I want to thank all of you who've been a part of this. Till next time, please pause and breathe. Allow the love of life, your love. Find a love of life. Find a love for you. Find a love that's greater than you, and align your mind and heart with that and be with that love. The love of the idea, the love of the experience, the love of being you. It's there for you to receive, to deny, to do with as you wish. Brothers and sisters, I love you. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time, preferably, hopefully. And until then, choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. Thank you again. God bless us all. Peace.